Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon just for extra support. It's a little bit on the late side, Monday, my time zone. I will cover just a couple of topics that caught my attention. I didn't have too much time to delve deep in news sites there. But some of them, some topics here caught my attention here. One of them is TSMC's Arizona Fabs. Supposedly they are so overbooked that customers are kind of pre-reserving capacity, but that capacity will only be available supposedly starting next decade. So they have an expansion phase kind of planning here that supposedly it's only in 2030 that will start producing the fabs or the chips there. And it seems that, again, there is a lot of demand here. Again, some of it is mainly because of the AI bubble for sure. And this overall, I don't think is a good situation here because again, I'm not sure how this will work. I assume the companies have to pay some kind of fee to pre-reserve what will be upcoming production slots on the fabs. Again, we are talking usually the big players. Supposedly, it's Nvidia, Apple, AMD's. They are requesting or trying to pre-book the upcoming expansion fabs, especially in Arizona. Again, some of the analysis here, some of them has to do with the fact that this increased for the demand here of backup production, which is basically trying to reserve a slot in upcoming future here. Some of them have to do with geopolitical factors. Again, I'm assuming Taiwan, but yeah, I'm not sure if this is good, given that the fact that the companies they will need this GPU stuff here. We are talking about Nvidia, which is or even Apple or other kind of big companies. Supposedly they have money to do this, but again, you're just buying upfront capacity that doesn't exist at this moment. I'm not sure how this will be for the financial of these companies themselves. And even when we reach that point, what kind of products are going to be made with those supposedly chips that are going to be made? If everything goes well, again, this is considering that the situation and according to the plans, at least 2030, they will start producing these fabs. Again, a lot of stuff can happen, as we know, between now and then. It's still basically almost 4 years, give or take, until we reach that timetable. And the fact that I'm not sure, given the global exchange of, for example, raw materials, again, refined materials that needed to produce this kind of chips. A lot of them, again, the raw materials, a lot of them come from China itself because they have, I don't know, around about, at least that the numbers I saw here and there, around about at least 90% of the raw materials processing capacity, at least the good quality processing, all those raw materials. So yeah, I'm not sure, given that all this, what they call geopolitical factors and tensions that exist at this moment, I don't know if they can be, they can aggravate. So again, I'm not sure if TSMC might, given it is supposedly a Chinese company, even though it's on the island of Taiwan, it's a Chinese company. I'm not sure if they have to apply for like something that so they are exempt of any kind of, I don't know, tariffs or any kind of blocks on selling these kind of materials that we might see happening here. Again, I also heard the fact that a lot of stuff here can be dual use stuff there. Again, we saw this thrown around a lot. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to work out very well. Again, plus the fact that AI bubble, I'm not sure if these companies have the amount of capital necessary to continue just put money on these AI things, AI server farms, and all that jazz. Again, I saw that a lot of big companies, for example, Google's and Apple's and companies that usually, and Amazon, they usually had a lot of cash flow, so cash in hand, what we usually call cash in hand, which is like cash reserves per se, to any kind of expenditure. From what I understand, I think there is a lot of these companies took that cash reserve per se and just start investing on this AI stuff here. I'm not sure how this is going to work in the next 3 to 4 years, but yeah, it's something that overall I'm not sure in terms of like the timetable in 4 years how this will work out here. Even us for us consumers, like for example to buy our GPUs, CPUs, and all that jazz, and even like for example monitors or any kind of hardware that might need this any kind of chip itself. I'm not sure how this will work out if they, for example, Nvidia, we know what they do. AMD is also kind of full throttle on entering this AI competition with Nvidia. Again, if they are basically continuing to pre-reserve this capacity of fabs, um, at least for until 4 years from now, I'm not sure how we're going to be, given that also, again, we heard Jansen Wang saying that, how did he put it? Scarcity is very good, at least from his point of view. So I'm not sure if we are, again, I'm not sure how prices and even the quality of the products that will come out to the consumer part are going to manifest itself in terms of the market that we have now, which everything is way too expensive. But yeah, I will try to keep up with this more economical stuff here. But yeah, something interesting happening here, especially with TSMC, which is like one of the big manufacturers in terms of chips here. Then we got something more gaming related, which is interesting enough. ESRB supposedly will not follow PEGI in new ratings rules over loot boxes, telling that it might be a little bit a little bit confusing for the parents when they buy a game, and they usually see this kind of guidelines here. Again, PEGI is an European consortium that rates the games, and oh my God, ESRB is the American or the North American ratings board. Uh, PEGI supposedly just everything that has anything regarding any paid random items, regardless if it is loot boxes. But usually it's more focused on loot boxes. They will have an automatically PEGI 16 rating, independently of what kind the game is. If it is even for like a Pokemon game, if it has loot boxes, it will just get a PEGI 16 rating. While North American, so ES, oh my God, again, ESRB, it's they say they will not adopt at this moment in time any kind of similar policy regarding that, saying that it will be very confusing. Again, this is a bullshit excuse from my perspective. Not to follow through, because I think again, this kind of surprise mechanics, as EA like to put it, they are not very healthy for younger people to be interacting with these kind of things. Given I don't know if it is, for example, like FIFA, they have like the pack cards. You see a lot of streamers with this, and a lot of young kids watch this. And I don't know. We see some stories here and there from time to time that the kids could just steal the credit card number, and they just buy a lot of this. They spend a lot of money in microtransactions also, and I think to a certain degree, in some cases, parents already have like a budget for this, which is not good. Again, this is basically gambling. I don't see it any other way regarding loot boxes or any kind of pack opening or anything associated with microtransactions, especially with this surprise mechanics. I always saw it as as some kind of gambling. It's not a casino gambling like the chips or baccarat or blackjack or like the slot machines, but it's gambling. The mechanism basically is basically the same here. Um, Again, I can understand if they will not put like the PEGI 16, for example, in DLC, which if it is something that it's just it's not something that it's loot box associated, like, but it's basically a transaction. Sorry, I can see they are not putting immediately on a PEGI 16 kind of a rating there. If it is like a DLC, because you pay for this, you get this automatically. It's a fixed result, so there is no gambling associated there. But again, given that, again, I'm not sure what this ECRB is trying to get around here. But they say that the age and content rating are based basically on the content of a game and the context in which it is presented to the player. Which, again, this kind of explanation doesn't hit very well for me. But that would be confusing if non-content related feature influence rating category assignments. As such, there are currently no plans for SRB to allow any factors outside of the content and the context of a game to influence the age rating assignment. Again, basically they are not, even if a game is like, before having, for example, any kind of loot box mechanics, if it was like all, like an all rating, anybody can play this from 0 to, I don't know, 99 years old. Even if it has microtransactions like loot boxes, again, if it is in the context of the game, is like, say, Pokemon or something like that, for them, they will not evaluate or reevaluate the rating by itself here. Which is very odd to me. Again, we see a lot of these rating boards and supervising boards of this kind of stuff usually get bought out by companies. I guess this might be kind of a case, given that we see that, especially in North American market, they usually tend to be very corporate friendly in this kind of situations, and I really don't like it. But yeah, supposedly they might review the how they rate games eventually in the future, but at this moment in time, that's their say here at this moment. Again, for in Europe now, the next, as I was mentioning, like the next FIFA game or whatever they are called now, EA Sports FC. I don't know why they change names. This loot box stuff of opening the cards to get the players or whatever it is. Again. They're not going to reevaluate because, again, it's a soccer game. So in their mind, given that you are getting football players, not going to get anything outside of the context of the sport itself. So I guess they will maintain this kind of rating. But yeah, not good. I think we need some more clear message regarding this situation, or at least more clear rules of how they will eventually rate games there. And then lastly, we got a lot of stuff happened in the weekend regarding Crimson Desert. There's supposedly like a couple of developers that kind of leaked information or kind of whistleblower, more of the sort here, and they posted on how did they call it? Oh my God, where is the site? I don't remember where is the site here. Jesus, where is it? I'm not sure. They posted it on a site that is specifically for this kind of things. I think I highlighted this there, but again, doesn't matter. Again, we saw that the even though the game sold like 2 million copies around the first day or first 24 hours. Again, the reviews and the player reviews are kind of very similar. I think on Metacritic, if not mistaken, we got around about 78 out of 100, so 78% positive feedback from reviewers and players. So at least everybody seems to be in line with this one. But these couple of developers decided to speak anonymously about some of the issues that plagued the game's long development. Again, at 2021, they removed any chance of putting like a final year of release at the time. But yeah, blind. Here it is. I thought that I had it highlighted here. This is similarly like a site for anonymous professional network, primarily used by tech and finance industry workers. And supposedly to post on this site, employees must be verified using their work email addresses. Again, so it seems that this seems to be at least two devs that worked on the game. And we got a lot of things that doesn't look good. Mainly, the most of it is regarding the first person, regarding the story of the game, which supposedly is one of the weakest and most criticized parts. Supposedly was heavily changed from the original plan, which the original plan seems a little bit more interesting, at least from the story that we get. Again, I'm staying out of spoilers because eventually I plan one of these days to play this game. Even though they received like a patch here, a beefy patch. I think they improved a lot of stuff, I think, especially the control stuff there. And I think they will eventually release there. I think they are working on supporting Intel GPUs also. But yeah, here I will again, I will leave the link of the article here. They go about how the story was supposed to go, at least the main gist of it. And it seemed a little bit interesting. There's also another guy that spoke about the fact that the game it's called Crimson Desert. Again, a lot of it supposedly there is no reference to Crimson Desert, but supposedly there was the original plan. There was something that you need to get on the Crimson Desert, like resources or something like that, like kind of similar to Spice in Dune. But yeah, I think the debacle started because supposedly there was a director who pushed out of the regarding a power struggle, and basically he resigned, and once someone from supposedly art background department became the general manager of the game, and they start basically overturning everything, which is usually not a good sign. And then basically it was created to a certain degree, kind of inverted pyramid regarding the creative control of the game. So a lot of people on the high ups just want somebody to just yes man to go about things, and they just basically starting picking up ideas from other games and just incorporating like hodgepodge on the game itself on Crimson Desert. Again, one of the things that people seem to be a little bit more positive about the game is the fact that you have an expansive open world with a lot of stuff to do. Suppose you can hunt, fish, do a lot of burglary also. You can police to a certain degree. You can rob people. There is a lot of stuff that supposedly you can do. And again, a lot of ideas. For example, we saw some of the trailers and gameplay stuff, like the floating islands high above. Supposedly that was taken, the idea from The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and they thought it was cool, so they just out of nowhere just started putting floating islands on the sky. Again, a lot of stuff. Again, without any forethought, how to implement this and how this will will take into account the original plan to have a more supposedly more consistent main story with some protagonists, which again the main character was supposed to call another add another name, but it didn't like, so even that it was changed. Supposedly I think was kind of almost in terms of story, you had supposedly like you have now certain characters. But then again, it seems that was a little bit messy. And that's why the people were having high expectations because the way the game was presented. And we are getting a lot of stuff here from the AI artwork that supposedly was some players caught up there. But yeah, a lot of stuff was put there into the mix without any forethought, without any planning, and how it will impact the game itself. But supposedly at this moment, at least from what people are playing, you can salvage enough from the game, enough to have a positive feedback regarding that, even though supposedly the story is the more one of the most weakest parts of the game. And I think there is also some pacing issues on the things or the feelings of how you go about doing stuff there. But yeah, hopefully this game can be improved, and they can take a little bit of a feedback of the players and incorporate that feedback to try and improve the game overall. I think in terms of performance, I think there was also something regarding the PS5. I think the graphic was not that good, but I think it was about the dynamic resolution setting, internal setting of the game. Because if there is, or if there was, for example, the TV could play the 120 hertz, it will automatically selected 120 frames. And of course, with the dynamic resolution, the fact that the game engine is a little bit more demanding, it automatically put it on 1080p and then upscale it to 4K. So it was a little bit a blurry mess. I think they will patch that in terms of how dynamic resolution functions. And I think also that it's one of the things I think, if I'm not sure if it was the cable that support 120 hertz, it automatically switched to that. But I think there is a workaround. I'm not sure what the workaround is on PS5. But yeah, so a lot of stuff that needs to be patched up before this game can be a little bit more better, let's say. But yeah, people seem to have some fun on the game itself. People can, at least the impression that I got is, don't expect like a Witcher 3 kind of a game, when you have like a very focused story, even though you have a lot of side activities, side missions. It's a little bit all over the place in terms of story pacing and storytelling, but there is a lot of stuff you can do, a lot of interactions, still some bugs here and there, of course. The fact that this world is very big, and even some complaints regarding some boss battles. I don't know what it was, but I think it's more about the camera angles and the control stuff there than any other stuff. But and again, don't expect any kind of Elden Ring kind of a thing there. It's not the same thing, but yeah, it seems salvageable enough, so people have some fun playing this game. And from also the perception that I've been getting is, again, the first hours can be a little bit rough, but if you take a chance and continue to play it through, it will get better. At least that the impression that I got from a lot of feedback that I've been seeing on the social media there. But yeah, other than that, I will wrap up with terms of gaming news. I'm just going to go through some gaming deals. We got Atomic Heart, 75% off. Again, I played the demo here, and you can try the demo if you're hesitant on this one. But again, I'm still very curious on playing this game. Probably I will get from the Premium Edition and probably do a series on it. We got also Baldur's Gate 3. It's on sale, 25% off. Always good to see this. We got Bioshock, the collection. So Bioshock 1 and 2 remastered versions, plus the DLC, and also Bioshock Infinite with the Season Pass there. 80% off the pack there. Again, it's a recommendation from my part. I played all of them. Yeah, I played all of them. I only made a series on Bioshock Infinite, but I played all of them when they came out, if not mistaken. We got also 30% on Chronos, the New Dawn. Again, this is one of I completely missed the launch of this one. But again, very positive feedback. Seems to be a pretty good game in terms of horror. Very Bluebird team kind of a game there. And it's 30% on all editions. Again, eventually I will pick up this game for sure. We got also Dredge. Again, this is one of those that it's been a while. It's been a long time that I usually bring this one up when it's on sale, and it's one of those that I would like to play it also. Again, 60% off in almost all editions. The complete edition with all the DLCs is 50% off. Again, very Lovecraftian kind of a story there, with a lot of interesting fishing mechanics. Then we got Hell Is Us. Again, very positive list when it came out. The mostly ones, again, it's kind of 80%, give or take, in terms of positive feedback. 50% off. Again, it's one of those that I'm very curious to try out, given that you don't have a lot of you don't have maps. Again, it's a little bit a twist on kind of openish worlds kind of a thing here. But yeah, I'm curious to see about this one. We got Hogwarts Legacy, 85% off. Again, if you like it, I managed to claim it for free on Epic Game Store. I will eventually play it when I have time. But yeah, a very interesting game. We got Prey. Again, I can vouch for this game, especially on this price point when there is a deal here. I made a series on this one. If you're curious about it, you can check out the first couple episodes to have an idea what this game is about. But again, what they call the immersive sims, very good. I really enjoyed the story with some plot twists here and there. Again, I did enjoy it. Then you got Resident Evil. I will put all the Resident Evil games. They are all on sale except for Requiem, of course. It came out, I think, not even a month ago. So again, all the other Resident Evil games are for sale. I will put the links on them on the description. And then last we got Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, 50% off. Very good to see good games on a good deal there. But yeah, and on that, I'm sorry about the rambling and the ranting. I will wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon, as usual. And before I finish, I completely forgot on the beginning. Again, I think I might be able to fix my problem recording the games, and maybe streaming by the end of this week. I'm not sure. I did some testings in my rig, but again, I don't have a lot of time to just not lose time, but I don't have a lot of time to go around the testing, check the recording, see if it is good and all that jazz. But I think I can manage by the end of the week to have at least a proper setup, probably starting to do some streaming and recording games so I can resume my gameplay series and also do some streams here and there. Again, depending on the game that I want to go about that. But yeah, other than that, I completely also forgot later. I don't know when, depending on how I manage to do this. Later, I will publish a Death Stranding episode. Again, it's from the first game still. I need to wrap up that gaming series. We'll try to put between 2 to 3 episodes per week until I finish up that one. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.